Just a quick reminder, next week will be our last week of publishing here before our annual summer break. We're taking 2 weeks off for summer this year because we need it. I have the best job in the world making marijuana podcasts, but I do need a regular break from the pressures of publishing to reset the old creative batteries. So next Friday will be our last show before the break. Then we'll be back into the swing of things on Monday, July 15th. That shutdown will include our newsletter, the MJ Today Media Newsfeed, which goes out every morning at 7 a.m. with all the day's legal cannabis news. This episode of Marijuana Today Daily is brought to you by our friends over at ease.com, California's top one-stop website for legal marijuana delivery, as well as an option for the same for folks living in the Portland, Oregon area. And of course, for those of us living outside those two places, there's easewellness.com, where you can get professionally curated hemp-derived CBD products via the mail in 44 U.S. states. Good morning, Marijuana Nation. It's Friday, June 21st, 2019, and you're tuned in to episode 748 of Marijuana Today Daily. I'm your host, Shay Gunther, and I'll be walking you through today's marijuana news and headlines. As always, we have a full and busy day of cannabis news in our hands, so let's jump right into it. Yesterday in Washington, D.C., the U.S. House of Representatives passed by a vote of 267 to 165 a bill that prevents the Department of Justice from spending money prosecuting state legal adult use marijuana, just as it's now blocked from going after medical marijuana. The bill was sponsored by Oregon Congressman Earl Blumenauer, and its passage is a pretty significant victory, even as its chances in the Republican-controlled Senate aren't exactly clear. Even so, it's huge that protections for adult use legalization was able to garner enough support. A fantastic way to start the end of the news week. Another good bit of news sits atop our headlines today, as my home state of Maine should see the opening of adult use dispensaries starting sometime next year, after state lawmakers spent the night and early morning today cranking through a list of bills as they wrap up their legislative session. With lawmakers not officially adjourning until nearly 7 a.m. this morning, they truly pulled an all-nighter in order to finish up last-minute legislative business, including the passage of proposed rules and regulations for how adult use sales will work. We've been on top of this storyline in recent weeks as it's developed, so most of the details past have been known for a while now. Perhaps the biggest bullet point is the rule mandating that Maine adult use businesses need to be majority owned by Maine residents, but that those businesses can be controlled by out-of-state interests. Maine will impose a 10% sales tax and a 10% excise tax on medical cannabis, which is generated to bring in $4.4 million in state revenue by June of next year, with $33.2 million in taxes and fees projected for the fiscal year 2023. Another state, another important piece of cannabis legislation. This time we swing down to New Jersey, where adult use legalization may not have passed this year, but where medical marijuana legislation just did. Yesterday, the New Jersey Senate and Assembly passed a comprehensive medical marijuana bill that implements a number of big changes to the state's medical cannabis system. If signed into law by Governor Phil Murphy, New Jersey patients will be able to buy 3 ounces of medical cannabis each month instead of 2, and would need to be recertified as patients just once a year as opposed to once every 3 months as they have to do now. The tax on medical marijuana would also be phased out by 2022, and the total number of medical cultivators capped at 28. There are a lot of changes on this one, so if you do business in the Garden State, this is a storyline you absolutely need to jump right into. As always, we have all the news we cover linked to on our website at mjtodaydaily.com. Those are our top stories for today. It's time for Marijuana Today Daily Headlines Blitz. Before we blitz out in headlines, let's quickly thank our sponsor, ease.com, California's top one-stop website for legal marijuana delivery, as well as an option for the same for folks living in the Portland, Oregon area. Zip over to ease.com to check out the day's ever-changing daily deal, which gives you 30% off the cost of select items when you use the discount code JUNE, as in the month. That's also a good reminder that Ease is donating 5% of its proceeds for the month of June to support LGBTQ plus equality. If you like getting legal marijuana products brought right to your door that are properly tested, packaged, and labeled, then you're going to love being a customer of Ease. And if you like giving your business to companies that work to be the best corporate citizens as possible, then you're going to be even happier being a customer of Ease. Swing over to ease.com, spelled EAZE, for legal adult use delivery in California and Portland, Oregon, and easewellness.com for hemp derived CBD products delivered via the mail in 44 U.S. states. All right, time for the Blitz. Wednesday marked the last regular day of business for New York State lawmakers as they failed this year to move legislation legalizing adult use, but they were able to yesterday vote through a bill that decriminalizes the possession of up to 2 ounces of marijuana, in addition to automatically expunging past marijuana crimes. It's not as nice as full adult use legalization would have been, but it's a not insignificant step in the right direction. Yesterday, House lawmakers in Washington, D.C. passed 2 amendments that will shift $5 million in funding from the Drug Enforcement Administration and into funding an opioid treatment program, as well as directing the Food and Drug Administration to set up rules and regulations for how CBD-infused foods and drinks can be manufactured. Swing over to Kyle Yeager's piece on Marijuana Moment for more on this. Felicia Gans over at the Boston Globe takes a good look at the Massachusetts legal marijuana program and the special micro business license types state regulators and lawmakers have set up there. Massachusetts has been one of the recognized leaders among states with legal marijuana in taking a thoughtful approach to how it's rolled out legal cannabis, and I think the micro business licenses are a great example of this. Micro business licenses are available for both cultivation and production and allow for smaller operators to get into the business without the large capital required for larger license types. The company formerly known as MJ Freeway, now named Akerna after a merger with fellow cannabis company Emtech, had a great debut on the Nasdaq stock market on Tuesday, debuting at a price of $11.51 a share on Tuesday and rising to a high of $65 just yesterday morning. The company's stock, traded under the symbol KERN or KERN, opened today right around $30 a share. New Cannabis Ventures has all the numbers and details on this one. The Bend Bulletin is reporting that Oregon-based cannabis company Grown has been hit with a 34-day ban on harvesting on top of a $15,000 fine for breaking 7 different cultivation and operational regulations dating back to January of last year. During that time, the company will be free to keep any growing plants alive, but they won't be able to harvest until the ban is up. Kyle Yeager is back with another headline as he picked up on an announcement by New Jersey Senator and presidential candidate Cory Booker of a plan to grant immediate clemency to people serving time in federal prison for nonviolent drug charges. The plan, which Senator Booker is calling the Restorative Justice Initiative, would set in motion clemency proceedings for around 17,000 people in federal prison right now. Kyle's story, as always, is worthy of a full jump in. And finally for today and for this week, our friends over at ArcView Market Research and BDS Analytics have issued a new version of their State of Legal Cannabis Markets report, which is for the first time wrapping up retail CBD with traditional adult use and medical cannabis, as well as the new FDA-approved marijuana-derived CBD drug Epidiolex. I should probably drop some disclosure on this one as we do have ties with ArcView. ArcView founder and CEO Troy Dayton is an old friend and infrequent regular on our weekly podcast, and our very own Chris Lotlicker actually started the market research firm that he later sold to ArcView that became ArcView Market Research. So it's a bit convoluted. Anyway, their new report forecasts that the total cannabinoid market will be worth around $15 billion this year, up 36% from last year. By 2024, ArcView and BDS predict that the total market will be around $45 billion. Those are the headlines and news for the day. I'll be back with you again Monday morning with another information-packed episode of Marijuana Today Daily. But in the meantime, if you have any stories to share or feedback to give, zip us an email to headlines@mjtodaydaily.com. And while you're clicking around the interwebs, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com to find links to all the news we cover. What do sea monsters love to eat? Fish and ships. Thanks to our sponsor, Ease, and to our awesome patron listeners for the support that makes this show possible. To join the illustrious ranks of the patron listeners yourself, swing over to our website at mgatodaydaily.com and click on that big blue button at the top of the page that says Become a Patron. I'm your host, Shay Gunther. Thanks for tuning in and starting your day with marijuana today.
One take, Shay. One take.